The United States dime is one of the most commonly used coins in American history, and this is the in-depth history of the United States dime. Before we start this video, I would really appreciate a like, a share, and a subscribe, for these videos take me a while to do because of the research and everything that goes into them. Also, I would like to say, before we move on, thank you guys for all the support on the history of the United States $quarter video. That video is now sitting at just over 1,000 views. I can't thank you guys enough. Let's get into it. Like many other coins, the dime was introduced to the United States in 1796, with the draped bust design being the first one in the dime line. This dime was designed by the engraver John Reich, and it is 90% silver. These went from 1796 to 1807. There are two different types of varieties with this dime, one being the small eagle and one being the large eagle. The small eagle had 15 stars in 1796, and then in 1797 it had 16 star and 13 star varieties. And then the second variety, the large eagle variety, was minted between 1798 and 1807. Keep your eye out, because in 1804 and 1805 there was two smaller types of varieties called 4-berries and 5-berry varieties. There are no known heirs to look out for in these coins. In 1808, the mint decided to take a break to design the capped bust dime, which was also designed by the engraver John Reich and is 90% silver. These were minted between 1809 and 1837, and there's a couple of varieties you should look for. The first variety you should look for is the wide border variety. This was minted between 1809 and 1828. There was also a small and large date in 1814, as well as a large and a small zero in 1820. In 1828 through 1837, there is a narrow rim variety. The only difference is the rim is a little bit more narrow. However, something you should keep your eye out for, between 1829 and 1830, there are two varieties of the 10-cent motto on the reverse on the bottom. There is a small 10 cent, as well as a large 10 cent. In 1837 through 1891, the seated Liberty dime was created. It was designed by Christian Gobrecht, and it is composed of 90% silver. And there's a bunch of different varieties that come with these. So variety 1, that dates between 1837 and 1838, is called the no stars variety. On the obverse, as you see, there are no stars, and that changes in 1838. So in mid-1838, variety 2 was released, and they added stars to the obverse. This variety dates from 1838 until 1853, and there's some things you should look out for in this variety. In 1838, there is a variety called the large stars and the small stars. Some of the stars are larger than others, and these are what they look like side by side. And then, another one, between 1839 and 1841, there is drapery and no drapery varieties. Variety 3 came out in mid-1853 until 1855, and this is known as the dated arrows variety. In this variety, there are two dates facing outwards on either side of the date on the obverse. And then, kind of like a variety 3.5, the arrows were removed and variety 2 was resumed, and this happened between 1856 and 1860. Variety 4, that happened between 1860 and 1873, the words United States of America were removed from the reverse and actually added to the obverse. Variety 5, which happened between 1873 and 1874, the arrows were re-added to the obverse next to the date. However, the stars were not re-added and the motto stayed on the obverse. And then once again, between 1875 and 1891, variety 4 was resumed once again. There are no well-known heirs to look for in this line of dimes. From 1892 until 1916, the Barber dime was introduced and minted. It was designed by Charles E. Barber, and it consists of 90% silver. There are actually no varieties with this type. It stayed consistently the same between 1892 and 1916. However, in 1905, there is a small variety you should look out for called the Micro O variety in the 1905 New Orleans mint mark. And here is a side-by-side representation so you can get a better idea what to look for. Starting in 1916 until 1945, and arguably one of the most well-known dimes for collectors to collect, is the Mercury dime. It was designed by a man named Adolph A. Weinman and is consisting of 90% silver. There are no major varieties to look for in these dimes. However, in 1945, during the San Francisco Mint, there is a Micro S mint mark. And once again, here's a side-by-side representation of what you can look for and how to spot it. A well-known error you can look for occurred in 1942 at the Philadelphia and Denver Mint, where there is actually a 42/41. Here's an example of that. And then starting in 1946 and going on until this very day is the Roosevelt dime. This dime was designed by a famous engraver, John R. Sinnock. These were actually made of 90% silver until the date 1964. And then after the date 1964, so from 1965 until present, they are made of 25% nickel and 75% copper. There are no well-known errors or varieties to look out for. And so that's it. That is the history of the United States dime. That's everything you need to know. That's all the varieties, all the key dates, all of the errors. I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Spencer from SFM Coins. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Have a good one.